दिल्ली के ध्यानचंद स्टेडियम में TV9 का वर्ल्ड ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म फेस्टिवल शुरू हो चुका है। इस फेस्टिवल का इनॉग्रेशन किया है नोएडा के MP महेश शर्मा ने और प्रीति श्रीवास्तव ने, जो कि उत्तर प्रदेश की डेप्यूटी डायरेक्टर हैं। एक पैनल डिस्कशन था वेकेशन आइटनरी को लेकर, जिसमें गेस्ट थे दुष्यंत भल्ला, डायरेक्टर एंड CEO आबी, हिम्मत आनंद, फाउंडर अ डॉग स्टोरी, दीपक भटनागर, CEO मीनार ग्रुप। इन सब से डिस्कशन किया है न्यूज़ 9 के एंकर कृष्णा ने। इनसे बात हुई है कि कैसे आप एक प्रॉपर वेकेशन की आइटनरी बना सकते हैं, अपने बजट का किस तरीके से ध्यान दे सकते हैं और कितने कम दिनों में आप कितना ज़्यादा वेकेशन अपना प्लान कर सकते हैं। तो सारी बातें जो एक वेकेशन प्लान करने को लेकर ज़रूरी हैं, हमारे गेस्ट ने इस पर अपना एक ओपिनियन दिया है और इससे आपको बहुत मदद मिलेगी कि आप कैसे अपने वेकेशन की आइटनरी बना सके। दूसरा हमारा पैनल डिस्कशन हुआ है यूथ फॉर इको टूरिज्म।
Right, so we have all the panelists on stage. The topic is a perfect itinerary for a flawless vacation. And for that we have Dushyant Bhalla, Director and CEO of Abi. We have Himmat Anand, Founder of Dog Story. And we have Deepak Bhatnagar, CEO of Minaar Group. Thank you all three gentlemen for taking time out to be with us. Dushyant, मैं पहले ये सवाल पूछना चाहूँगा, ये perfect itinerary होता क्या है?
So, as we say, the perfect itinerary is for you. So, luxury travel is not about always the expensive and the bling. It's about what is customized for you, what you like. So the perfect itinerary is for you, whether you like to shop, so it's a shopping. If you have kids traveling, it's the amusement parks. If you like something else, so it's about that. You want to do an experience like Northern Lights or Safari, it's about that. So the perfect itinerary is what you like. That's what I would say.
आप बता सकते हैं कि आज के तारीख पे perfect itinerary होता क्या है?
There is no such thing as a perfect itinerary. Just like there is no perfect vacation. Let me just put a twist to this. Holidays today, when you go to a restaurant today, the service staff, I think in some time will stop asking you, how was the food? They will ask you, how was the picture of the food? Similarly, holidays today are all about photography, mostly, right? So I think a lot of holiday trust, a lot of holiday effort, and a lot of holiday planning with the holiday maker is going towards how Instagrammable will my holiday be, which is a pity, but that's the way I think our business is going. So yeah, there is really no perfect itinerary. What I do believe is that monuments are no longer a draw for vacation. Nobody wants to go and necessarily see monuments. Unfortunately, India is in that position where we are still very monument-centric as far as our tourism product is concerned. So India will really have to change that mindset and stop having the thrust on monuments, have more on real leisure, real experiential tourism. That's what it's all about.
Okay, experiential, this word is bandied about a lot. Experiential tourism में आज Gen Z हो या उनसे भी ज़्यादा उम्र के लोग, सब लोग experience चाहते हैं.
See, first question is, what is a perfect itinerary? To arrive on a perfect itinerary, I think the most important part is to know your customer or to know your potential customer. Until unless we know our customer, we cannot plan anything, what they want. As my fellow colleague has said, somebody wants a wildlife, somebody wants amusement park, it's totally different. So until unless we know our customer, yes, today's world, post-COVID, we have seen a lot of experiential tourism is happening. So in India, we have no dearth of experiential travel when we talk about, so we can have a village theme, we can have workshops with the craft, arts, workshops for the tourist. So it depends. And also Mr. Anand said, it's not only monument. We have to choose only the most important monuments, because after 2 monuments, tourists will get fatigue of monuments or a temples. So many temples in India we have. We must show them 1 or 2, but not everything. So we have to have a right mix of the product for a perfect itinerary.
So it's about keeping a good balance, isn't it? Balance होनी चाहिए itinerary में हर तरह की चीजों की. Isn't it, Dushyant?
You see, that's what I said. The balance, and as you said, you should know your customer. So the balance depends on what the customer wants. Definitely culinary is a great thing that people go for right now. Because and food is something which actually get access to locally. That local culture, that local food. So people travel for that. So food becomes very important, shopping becomes very important, the experiential travel becomes very important. The purpose of the travel is the main thing why what we should go for. Suppose somebody is on honeymoon, so their preference would be to spend time together. They not get into activities and all. The experiences would be stargazing, dining under the stars and all that stuff. Whereas if you're on a family vacation, you have to be active with the kids. So why of the travel, whom you're traveling with, makes a lot of sense for, all these things.
And yeah, this perfect itinerary differs from Indian travelers to overseas travelers?
Yeah, I think it's sort of chalk and cheese. The expectations of the Indian traveler are very different to what it is from the foreign traveler. But I think what we in tourism and in hospitality, since we are talking of the domestic and the international traveler, I think the major challenge going forward for our industry in the domestic market, how are you going to manage the growing and very often very unreasonable expectations of the domestic traveler? For me, that is going to be the bigger challenge as tourism grows. It's not about staff, it's not about business coming from wherever, manpower, all of that. I think handling the domestic client is going to be a major challenge for us in the industry. I think the overseas tourists are more accepting of what is offered to them. I think they are more appreciative. So I'm not painting everybody with the same brush, but yeah, that's the differentiation I see between the domestic traveler and the foreign traveler. But yeah, very, very different one to the other.
But even domestic travelers' expectations of a vacation is also changing quite considerably, isn't it?
For sure, domestic travelers are more demanding, as compared to international traveler. International traveler knows what they want, and once everything is fixed, they will normally follow. Whereas whatever the experience we have with the domestic tourist, even at the site, they would like to do something different, backtrack, go different places. So you have to be flexible to meet the demand of the tourist. And it's not only domestic or international, even in an international market, even in a domestic market, region-wise the preferences change. The tourists coming from Calcutta would have different preferences. People coming from Gujarat would have a different preferences, whether it is a culinary, whether it is a sightseeing, whether it's a temple, what temple they would like to see. Same with the international, different nationality would prefer different sites to visit.
The way things are going, it's all about customization, isn't it? There is no one size fits all when it comes to itineraries for vacations, isn't it, Dushyant?
No, exactly, and I think that's the way forward as well. The way things are going, people have their preferences, why they travel. And people really don't want to do run-of-the-mill things which everybody else is also doing. And a lot of our clients and a lot of people now are mature travelers, that's what we say, because people just don't take one vacation now. They take like multiple vacations during the year. And every time they want something which is for them. So the customization is actually something that goes very well. And the standard, the group packages and all is not what people prefer now. Because run-of-the-mill things have been going on since way too long. People want to explore, they want to see the culture. And everybody has a different way to see the culture. As I said, why they are traveling depends on how the customization goes on.
And that's not just to do with luxury travel, isn't it? Customization is for all budgets of traveling. This customization trend is not just meant for luxury travel. In fact, whatever bracket of spending that you belong to, it's all about customization, customizing it to the individual customer.
Yeah, I think today the traveler wants to do travel for which he can tell a story. That's what he really is traveling for. He wants to share his experiences after his holiday with many others. So if your product does not offer a story for the traveler to tell, I doubt it's going to succeed. So it's more about traveling along with storytelling and identifying with what you're doing. That's what I think travel is moving towards basically.
So it's all about storytelling, isn't it?
100%, as Mr. Anand said, today we are living in the era of Instagram, Facebooks. The moment you go, first thing what you'd like with your picture or without your picture, you want to post where you are. And then you want to tell a story. So about that, so it's very, very important we choose the right places which has a lot of history. As far as the Indian product is concerned, we have a lot of stories. So that's not a challenge. And also you were talking about customization. So that's why we say tailor-made. Tailor means what you want, so we will make it that. That's why we say knowing your customer is the most key to prepare any itinerary.
If I were to ask you, what would be your advice to travelers and for travel makers? You know, in a world of so much uncertainty, you know, where there's so many factors, everything from weather, you know, to other events that can, you know, interfere with your vacation. What would be, say, the top 3 things that they need to keep in mind while crafting their itinerary?
Well, I think when you're crafting the itinerary for the travel makers is, again, number one, see why about the travel. The purpose of the travel is very important. Well, that's what defines. The second thing that you look at is definitely the budget. What they're looking at, you know, whether it's a Four Seasons or it's a Hyatt or it's a Marriott. So every traveler has a different budget that they travel on. And, you know, and the third is the inclination for the travel, whether it's spirituality, whether it's fun, whether it's vacation, whether it's summer vacation or a family vacation. So these are the top 3 things I would consider when we're designing travel for them.
Right, so that's luxury travel. If I were to ask you, you know, the same thing, does it apply? Because prices have gone up by around 30% post-pandemic, isn't it?
No, I think the market, so we have to again look at it, both domestic and international have become very conscious of pricing. I think where pricing doesn't matter is the top 5% of the traveler, which is the luxury traveler. He wants what he wants and he's willing to pay whatever he wants to pay for it. Lower down the ladder, I'm sure, and I think the OTAs also now, since prices are so visible, you easily know who's offering what at what price point. So I think going forward, the way economies are going, the way the stock market is going, all that has an impact on the paying capacity of the traveler. So yeah, I think pricing is going to get more and more squeezed as we go along. And correspondingly, the demands of the traveler are going to go more and more up as we go along. So the challenge will be, how do I balance both of these?
Prices are going up, so are demand, isn't it? And that is the ultimate conundrum. How does one travel maker outdo the other one then?
So, you know, the price sensitivity will remain always from the beginning, whether we are in crisis or not crisis or post-COVID or COVID, pre-COVID. So prices are sensitive. Demand is increasing, no doubt. So is the new products are coming in the market. So their development, when we talk in the perspective of India, we are having so many new hotels are coming and all. It is a transit time when we have a demand and supply gap. I think there are very few cities. Otherwise, not every city is doing 100% occupancies or all. So the price will remain the king of the market. If you want a client to attract, what my colleague said, okay, we need to package it with a value. And if we are able to convince the price has a value, then client may buy, but they will always bargain. So that bargaining is international now.
Bargaining is international. It's a solid truth as we discuss the perfect itinerary. I'm afraid we run out of time over here. I'm going to thank Dushyant Bhalla, Himmat Anand and Deepak Bhatnagar for taking time out to be with us over here at the World Travel and Tourism Festival. Thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you, Arya.